Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic.
And I'm Most Evil Lifeform.
And this is another reaction to RWBY Volume 6. And as always, if you want to see the reaction, go down into our descriptions, follow the links, replace the circumflex.pulse with real dots, and enjoy. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear us out about this a little bit laggy episode. So see you soon. Welcome back. Now, okay, we started the computer again. We disabled nearly everything I had running. And hopefully it will not happen for the last episode again. However, let's discuss this episode. So we started off with a mech fight, which I was not so looking forward to.
I'm not sure if it was because of the lags we had, but I somehow had issues following it properly.
Yeah.
I think it's part of the lagging in case, because especially within fight scenes,
you need every
lag
frame.
is basically killing a lot of movement and stuff like that. So missing stuff is.
However, I like the. I was a bit in the last episode, not just a bit, disappointed with them bringing in the mech because it for me did not fit in this universe so much yet, and it just was. It felt bonkers, fitting to the character that drove the mech. However, they did it a bit better because they clearly showed that she was using this weapon for something it wasn't designed for.
It was also weird because somehow I strongly associate technology from Atlas to be quite refined and somehow shiny, if you want to say it like that.
Yeah, silver, always silver.
Polished.
Steel, yeah.
Yeah, and this seemed so dull and old, and I mean, probably it was there for ages, it could be, but it's like...
It was a matter of the coloring. It was this brownish color.
Yeah. It's like the whole thing feels a little...
clunky.
Meh.
It was clunky. It had just one big gun and rocket batteries. But that is because it was clearly designed against huge grims from the sea. And so that's what they picked on. If you would normally design such a thing for the battlefield against many, you would have in other stuff.
This whole fight felt off. I can't explain it, and I'm not 100% sure if it was because of the lag. Just felt so like maybe it's because they fight against not a long introduced villain. It feels so random, so over the top for the situation.
This feeling of we need a fight in the series, so let's put one in.
Yes, like this. It just didn't feel right. The size of the size of the fight was not matching the situation.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm not sure how many more episodes will follow. So
I think it's just one more.
Really, but so this was meant as some of okay, we need a final big fight.
It feels to me like that. In general, with the whole character that drove the mech, it felt like we need some kind of a big enemy there.
If that's the case, that is really this is.
Well, no, it was not needed. However, apart from this negative part here in this fight, I liked the turnaround that they did by showing again the strategic and tactical side of Jean, by clearly seeing the weak spots of the bot, them working as a team to move in from different sides. Everyone tried to use their abilities as good as possible. Sure, that the shield generator is so clearly and easy accessible from the backside was a little bit of a downer. But I was searching for some kind of a maintenance access
didn't
there.
They also said always in video games the weak point of the mech is on the backside.
Yes, that's true. So we have to see here they are always bowing a little bit to video games.
Maybe
and
it's
other
also
series, so.
Maybe it's also a reference to their video game, which we have not played yet.
Might very well be. So I see that as there was a bow to Shadow of the Colossus and stuff like that. It's in an okayish region. It's the same problem as we had before. Sincerity versus fun. So I'm pretty sure there are many people who were like, that was a funny fight, I liked it. So it's okay. They use their abilities, and that's it. However, running on top of rockets, catching rockets without them exploding and stuff like that, Yeah, well, let's say it's a bit cringeworthy.
Also, that the weapons the blades could cut right through the metal. Not just the scythes or scythes, however you pronounce it. Also, the blades of Ren's weapons.
He used it it's like a climbing gear always in the
I know,
past.
but still, it could pierce the metal.
Yeah,
perfectly.
you would just
if you
bounce
can
off.
pierce the metal perfectly, I think with a knife of some sort. I think, for example, rockets or grenades would probably damage your hull as well.
Yes. There was a bit the question here of this shield.
Yeah.
So she used the shield to actively project it. That's something I can see. If she puts out the hand of the mech and then the shield is actively projected, that's one thing. But when they disabled the shield on the backside, you could see a shield around disappearing. So that makes no sense, especially if you're fighting a Sea Drake, as example as they had. He would just spiral around the mech and just rip it apart. So design-wise, not so clever.
And especially that there is no one else stopping her. I mean, she said, "Don't interfere and watch and blah," and it's so weird.
Well, that is the question of this character in her position.
Yeah, but isn't there also like someone from the other personnel? I mean, clearly they have some sort of respect for her, but it just feels like
feels like a second in command or an internal overview person who has to be there. If you're leader of a base, you do have like a medic officer who can always take you out by saying you are sick, and in this case mentally sick, and I relieve you of your command, or you have a second in command, or you have internal investigations running around like everywhere. That was a bit missing here, but we had that already.
It's just as mentioned. I think this is more hurtful for the Atlas than anything else, especially from a viewer perspective. Like, okay, I said it before. If you can simply take out the back of Atlas, what
would have worked here is if this base was not from Atlas, but like a free traders, more like smuggler base. This is a smuggler base who defends this town, and Atlas is just looking away from it like that.
Kind of neutral zone.
Exactly. Then you could have a bonkers like that commander in command
that
with her very own
fitting.
Private mech
and especially with her grandeur. I'm here, the queen of this neutral zone stuff.
So
this would
have felt way more fitting.
That's true.
I think that would have been a nice idea. So, however, there was this one scene, and then we have the fight between Adam and Blake. And there's a huge difference. So, one thing, there's a split in the middle when the fight changes towards Yang, and now I really have to question one thing: either he really, really, really hold back because he wanted to talk to Yang, to torture her and stuff, and then Blake, and then goes full on against Yang because this was a major difference.
This was a different shift. This was a different gear.
And I would like to see this as the option. Let's just say that's it. But I kind of feared that there were two people involved on creating this fight, or two teams, and one was creating the fight against Blake, and the other one was creating the fight against Yang, and they just went more on.
I liked how we both were partially right with our guesses last time when we were thinking about how this fight could turn out. But I have two things. First of all, Adam's ability with the sword said, okay, it goes through anything, so it should have. When I was saying I expected Yang to block with her arm, it was not against the main attack, because if I remember correctly, or at least I understood it that way, it was that this attack is fatal. That there is no way of blocking it.
We know now better. We know better now.
Yeah, but that's why I'm like, I would have liked it more if it was a very strong regular attack and she blocked it with this, and would have avoided the main attack. This would be more believable. Because
which, by the way, doesn't look as cool anymore. What? I'm sorry, his major attack. He had in the past, especially if you remember the Blake intro, the teaser for RWBY for Blake, where this huge bot was. He shot and he absorbed with his sword, which we now know needs to charge it up, and then he just did this slice, and that they just changed color. It evaporated. If it would be just like a slice, and there's no wave or stuff. It's just a slice and the other one falls apart. That is cool. That looks good. And now he had like a red-black wave throwing.
It reminded me a lot of Yasha a bit.
Which I cannot talk about because I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
So they changed this outer appearance of his special, and I don't like the new version.
I like when the colors just went to black and red. This was cool. This was looking very good. This was also very felt right for him.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the animation for his main attack. What I just said, I already mentioned what I'm feeling about this attack, because he felt so strong and powerful. It just his main attack. The main attack is usually a whole different level than your rest of your fight. It's like the top of your fight, and the rest of the fight didn't seem stronger than his main attack if it's blockable.
I mean, as far as I understood now, his ability is that he takes the power of the enemy attack with his sword, and the stronger the attack is the same, like it's not the same, but kind of like Yang's. The stronger the attack, the more power he stores up, and the stronger his main attack is. That's why he was able to one-shot this huge robot in the past, in the Blake trailer.
Yeah.
Because there was a huge attack. And
this where I was like, I mean, Yang has basically the same ability, so they both, in theory, have a similar to.
Nope, they don't have. I mean, they're similar, no question there. But the more damage she gets, it accumulates, and then she gets stronger. So she has like a level, and it just goes. There we are, into different directions. So while if you're hitting him with weak attacks, it takes longer to get up on his sword, and he gets not injured at all when he blocks. That's
But what I was meant to say is that they both, if they would fight longer against each other, their attacks would become stronger and stronger equally.
Yeah.
So they could basically infinitely get their strength up until Yang dies.
In an infinite fight, Yang would win because her power stays on the high level. She gets hit to half life, let's say. So she gets hits for 500 damage. She has 1000, whatever, And she increases her own power thus. And it is permanently higher because she is injured at that level. He gets hit for 500 damage. He can dish out one attack with this increased damage.
It just depends if he is able to block or not. That's basically
if he blocks. If he gets hit, he loses half his life and is not stronger at all. He doesn't get stronger when he gets hit.
Every time he blocks, he gets the same amount of strength back.
Yeah, but he can only he doesn't heal for it. But he can only hit back once with this charge.
Sure. But let's say she's 500, she gets something in, she gets to 1000, she deals damage, deals 1000, so the sword is then charged on 1000. You know what I mean?
Yes, but she, with the next hit and the second next, she always hits with this damage. Always. And he only does it once.
Yeah, but every time he blocks it, he gets immediately right again.
Yes, okay. So if you see it if he blocks, yes, that's right. Because her damage is increased. But overall, she should be able to win because she has always the higher power at her option. However, I agree. I think she could only block the attack with her arm because she just hit once or twice. Then he hit once before with his major attack, and that's when Blake stated what his ability is. She said
this was not a major attack in my.
He was stronger there, and she was surprised. And Blake stated how his special works. And then you could, in my opinion, see that Yang tried to avoid hitting the sword. She clearly jumped around him, danced out of his range, and tried to kick him from time to time.
Where I was reminded of the fight with Neo, where it was clear, if he's fast enough and he's not being hit, Yang has a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very right. And it worked for a bit, and she did hit the sword with kind of weak attacks once or twice. That was the only power that he could store up. Thus, I guess his main was not so strong yet. That's why she could block. And even then, her arm was damaged. You could see it. It was open. It was
damaged. It was damaged. It felt just like.
Yeah.
The attack felt like the whole body was hit and not just an arm.
Yeah.
So even if this portion is blocked, she would still get hit on the other regions of her body.
However, I'm a little sad about his ability now because I really like the idea that he has like a zen moment, because in the past when he used it, he just stood there and said, I need some time.
Yes,
he needed
I
to
see
prepare.
that.
And because it's so completely contrary to his character. Because he's always angry and raged, and then he's like, I have to concentrate, and then going zen, and whatever is gone, That is cool. With now he just can absorb it. Why should he need those moments now? I like the zen option more. Well, however, that's how it is now.
We saw also that at least one eye is blind, and that it was that it was a branding. It was not just
602, something like that.
I couldn't really make out what the sign was saying, but it was a branding for sure. And I had it immediately. Okay, was this either from Atlas maybe? Because slavery is.
I mean, Faunus were suppressed everywhere. It felt a lot like he was in a slavery camp, Faunus labor, I guess, and they branded him. Why ever they would brand on the eye? Because you damage your good, your own worker. You normally don't do that with slaves. You don't. That's the thing. You want the slaves to work. So if you take an eye from them,
maybe he had work which didn't need eyesight.
Or I guess he was tortured for something.
And it was only one eye. It was like, okay, with one eye is enough, so you can see for whatever you do.
I mean, I guess maybe we will hear about it now that they showed it. Maybe he saw something he shouldn't see, and thus they took the eye, as you said. Or if you say something to your masters, they cut off your tongue. Stuff like that. The direct consequence. The number clearly is about you have no name. You're a number. That's the slave, the workforce. He stated he was hurt in the past by so many, but never liked from Blake because she left him. That's the thing. That's what she's going for. And to say so, you were half right with him being blind.
Yeah, that's
half right.
That's why I said, okay, we were partially right.
And I, as I expected, they put in Bumblebee and threw it between and into the river. And she blocked with the arm, yeah. So there was much. I mean, we know the characters, we kind of know by now, sometimes at least, how Rooster Teeth is writing. So it's easier to predict some things.
One interesting thing is always when they say to Adam, leave us alone.
Yeah.
They don't consider to kill him.
Yes.
Or to at least capture him or even handcuff him.
I mean, for Blake, I can see it. They have a past together. She knows him from another time where he was not what he is now. For Yang, it is a major step, in my opinion, because he cut off her arm. So
for me, it was kind of weird because if you remember what happened at Haven, where he actively tried to destroy the whole academy and stuff, it was like, you let him roam free and just be okay with him if he leaves you alone.
Ah, well,
that's okay. I mean, fine, but it's just a kind of bit. The idea would for me be okay. You don't have to kill him, but capture him and give him to authorities because clearly the attack on Haven was known. It is people are aware of it, so it would be reasonable to just capture him, handcuff him, and give him to authorities.
What we did see in the fight, however, there was this moment when they were standing and asking him to leave. You could see the hand of Yang shaking, so she was afraid. Or I wouldn't say afraid, but there were clear, strong emotions. The trauma. They had this moment of, I don't defend her, she doesn't defend me, we defend each other, so we defend us. This moment, which reflects to the moment in the shed, where I don't need you to defend me. This misunderstanding. Them standing, were they holding hands? I'm not sure. Yes, they were. So this is a strong moment where they worked for the whole season now. That we have this moment finally of them working together, and sure, out of force.
It's also like I was kind of. I'm not sure if this is currently helping this situation. I mean, it's cool for them, but isn't this exactly what would Adam enrage right now even more?
I don't know. I somehow have the vibe that he really will leave because he was standing there and still talking, and he was considering it. The
thing is, what I would do as Adam right now is, in the sense of, well, nice to hear that. I thought that once of her too. You know, because they were in some
That's
similar.
a mean one. That's a good one. So given a sting. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Because this is they have he had a very similar relationship, if not even from his perspective, even closer. And I mean, this is not the first time. Like we had it with Ilya as well. She was similarly disappointed.
Yeah. Blake and her relationships,
Yeah, Blake and her relationships, and every time some emotions were involved, romantically even. So I would see that Adam would try to break this bond. This would be, for me, a logical step to take.
I'm pretty sure, just by writing, not by logic, just by writing, I think he will leave. But I think he needs a reason. If he would just say, well, then that's it, I understand, and good luck, and it's stuff like, it's not over, we will meet again, you know, the typical villain stuff before you leave. But they will feel like, why did he leave? I mean, it's not like it feels like they are strong enough to beat him right now. He cannot be sure. No question there, but it does not feel like. So either something from the outside appears, so like, I don't know, Crow flying in, the fight against the robot ending, and you can see the others arriving, checking what's going on. Or a nice and good placed word, something that gets through to him about why is he here, what does he want to do, that he realizes, okay, there's nothing I can win out of this here. It's not about killing her.
So that he comes to his senses.
Yeah, but not that he's like, oh yeah, you're right, but he will be possibly like, and not showing it and then just leave. But I wait for that.
Another possibility is that he is breaking.
That he's crushing down and cry and what?
That, for example, he will they were at a cliff that he jumps into the something like this.
Yeah, but still need the reason.
Well, the reason is, okay, if he sees now a bond which he will never have with anyone.
Okay. But they have to show that. They have to reflect that, because right now I don't see it from his perspective.
It could be that he starts the stinging talk and that they talk back and that he sees, okay, there is something special which was never there for him and he could never experience.
Yeah, that's something, okay. They just have to highlight that more so that you can see this moment in him, that you can see he gets this moment, because that's what's missing right now. They are stuck. They're both. They don't know if they can beat each other. And I'm
actually not sure what would be satisfying for him right now.
Yeah, he needs a new goal. That's it.
No. I also mean, okay. I try to imagine the ways this could go, and somehow none of them really feels satisfying. Somehow, this is what currently is a little bit of, because he was displayed. I really liked him, or like him still, in the sense of, because it's very intriguing, it's cool, it's the evil parts and stuff, and even the drifts into the madness, which makes the character interesting. And for me, it's like, right now, everything seems to be so unsatisfying for him, no matter in which direction it goes. Like, for him, it would be so... Even if he would be, let's say, he would be killed right now, it still felt underwhelming and sad.
Yes, because, he was kind of lost.
Yeah.
And he was not, I mean, that sounds mean. He was not really evil. He's just a maniac. He's not Salem evil or Cinder evil searching for power.
He is actually lonely.
Yes. So, in such a situation, the best option is for him to think. To get out of it, and
would it be satisfying if he, let's say, oh, I'm coming to my senses and
not
joining...
instantly?
Yeah, but we will see.
It would be something like him moving away with a reason now, which I need in the next episode, and then just pull out of it and maybe have 1 or 2 episodes reflecting on him, maybe his past a little bit, and that he's like, okay, where am I now? Why am I here? What do I want to do? And even if he goes maniac and you can follow his not existing logic and it fits in and he says, now I got it. The one that is the reason is Hazel. It's all Hazel's fault. They're in the... It doesn't matter, if you're a maniac, you just put it into places. If you can follow it along, I am fine. If he's crazy with a new goal, why not? But he needs to take me with him on this ride. I need to understand why he does it. Right now... And that's a problem. He has no real goal anymore, except for destroying Blake, which I can understand partially. And there we are. If he would succeed, what then? Yeah. What is it now? Now you destroyed her, and what now?
That's the usual. That's also a very common thing of, okay, if you are very focus on one thing, and if you lose this one thing, what comes after that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they
The
can
usual revenge thing.
Yeah, I think they can't transport it to him right now, but what would be interesting is if he would realize that a lot of what went wrong in the past was his fault. So self-doubt, realizing, holy crap, I made mistakes. And then you can just, you know, go away for a moment and we will see you in a season.
I just imagined him to be also eaten by a Grimm the easy way out.
No, I'm against it.
I'm also against it. It's just like, it would be like, okay, we don't know what to do. Let's just
jump into this Grimm. Because,
yeah.
I mean, it would be like, he's standing there, I will never let you go. And you see, and no, not the Grimm. You just see the foot of this Mech. Adam is over, and everyone would be like, seriously?
Yeah, it is.
Seriously?
They put themselves in a very peculiar situation, but we will see how they solve it.
Exactly, in the next episode, which is leading us to the next episode. So, as always, I hope you liked that discussion. We will see you in the next video, and until then, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. My name is Relax and Panic.
And I'm Most Evil Lifeform.
Goodbye and out.
Bye.